introduced by us. And e-invoicing now from 1st January 2021, the limit is now 100 crores. So gradually we will bring it down. So nowadays the sandbox is available to make the data entry and how to IRN and all these things. These are the technical stuffs. I think Puneet, you have taken a great initiative about this e-invoicing in Tally Prime, and I'm confident that every participant will benefited by this your seminar, and I wish all the best to the all participant and Puneet and in your team. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gajanan sir. We will come again back to you if there are any questions related to that from department's perspective, because the participants and many SMEs are in a challenge in terms of what to do from infrastructure. Yes, the software would be required, but what in case the invoice does not get uploaded, or after the uploading there are some challenging of cancelling it, and such small issues what the businessman could have. So
Yeah.
yes, we have listed out something, but definitely if those are within our this thing, we will try and work it out, or we will come back to you, sir, that
Yeah.
how
Sure.
department
Sure.
can help, and
Yeah.
what we can do together from software's perspective as well as from department perspective to make the life of businessmen easy. The entire
Yeah.
goal is not to collect more and more tax, as I believe, and you too, I have been knowing for you along. The entire purpose is that the businessman should be able to do his business without any hindrance, without
Yeah.
a single difficulty as a current this thing. They should be able to do it. So I think with that purpose in mind, let us start today's session. Hiral bhai, please, could you please take this thing? Yeah. So by the time participants are joining, Hiral bhai, if you could just share some of the case study of Digital India that we undertook after we implemented e-invoice for 500 crores and for 100 crores. Do you have some case studies? If you could just start with that, and from there on, we will, after that, we will start with practical implementation of e-invoice. Hiral bhai, you are not audible.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was on mute. So yeah, warm welcome to everyone, and let's start with the success stories. What our clients have experienced using e-invoicing functionality of Tally Prime. So let's start with the first success story.
Your screen is not visible here.
It's not visible.
Yeah.
Okay, just a second. Is it visible now? Okay. Yeah. So let's start with the success story, the first success story. It is about a gold jewelry manufacturer. They were having various challenges, like how to issue the raw gold to the manufacturer or to the job workers. Then supply.
Let me mute all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hiral, now you can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. So this success story is about a gold jewelry manufacturer who was having a multiple inventory in and out on the basis of uh, the raw gold was being sent to the job workers for the uh, working for the manufacturing of the jewelries or ornaments, and in return the ornaments used to come from the job worker or karigar. So the inventory movements were to be tracked effectively and correctly in the book, so that they can also generate the e-invoice correctly, and they could properly maintain the compliance part. So we implemented for them. We implemented for those gold manufacturers and jewelry manufacturers. So they have been very beneficial, and they are helpful to us. It was a very flawless process. So second,
If 1 second, there
yeah,
are
yeah.
few participants who are saying that there is no voice. Can somebody else also confirm that are we audible, or on the chat itself, if possible?
You're perfectly audible.
Yeah, thank you, Samir
Okay.
bhai. Yeah, yeah, thank you, Abhinav ji. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right.
So let's move ahead with the second success story.
So the second success, se- uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the second success story is all about a chemical manufacturer who started e-invoice at his two locations. That is, their factory was at Vasai as well as for at Vapi, and simultaneously they were able to synchronize the transaction as well as generate e-invoice swiftly. So the challenge that none of the truck was ever halted or waited for that e-invoice to be generated. So again, it was fantastic for it was a good initiative on the part of the participant, on the part of the client, to accept that yes, they would right from the direct. 1 second. Yeah, please go. Please take the third one, Hirvan.
Yeah, sir. Just a second.
Yeah, please take the third one.
Huh. Okay. So the third one was about the car dealer. They are into the manufacturing of they are into the selling of their cars, the traders of the cars, and there was no proper checking of the GST number. Uh, but now the e-invoice and the validation part of the GST number is correctly, smoothly implemented, and also they are able to track their uh, the the car sales and also the spare part sales, and they are able to generate the e-invoice for those processes. So we have effectively implemented, and they are very happy using the e-invoice part of the Tally Prime.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
So, friends, there are only five success stories. We just wanted to spare 30 seconds for each of those success stories. Now, these are metal market dealer. Here, we all would know that in the year 2012 to 2018, there were a lot of fake invoices, and that was a very big challenge. And as Gajanan sir also mentioned, that this is something that was really painful for the traders. And with e-invoice, the ITC checking has become extremely smooth and fantastic. So that's what we wanted to suggest. The next success story, the last one, Hiralbhai.
Yeah. So this success story is about the dry fruit and chemical manufacturer. They have a very a tremendous the business process is so fast that they even can't wait for the dispatches to they have to dispatch their dispatches and goods on time. So instead of implementing this additional compliance, they were bit initially they were bit uh, confused, or they were not understanding how to do it. But when we implemented Tally e-invoicing from the Tally Prime, they have their dispatches are going on time, and they are not affected by that process. So it is a very smooth process for them.
So,
So
friends, as you can see, whether it is a chemical manufacturer or a metal market trader or an automobile dealer, all of them are gold traders. all of them have been able to get the best out of e-invoice thanks to TelePrime on that. And with that, let's start with our initial setup of how to work with TelePrime. So what has been the difference between the earlier part and the current part? So let's move forward here. Yeah.
Yeah. So what has changed initially? First is the applicability of the e-invoice. Let's start with the applicability first. So regarding to the applicability, it is the present in e-invoicing, the invoicing system, it was applicable to all taxpayers. Now e-invoicing will be applicable to B2B supplies exports, which were more than 500 crore. That was applicable since 1st October. And if the turnover, the previous the aggregate annual turnover is of the last preceding 3 financial years is more than 100 crores, then from 1st Jan they were those taxpayers were applicable, and they were in the ambit of the e-invoicing. Now these are the actual slab rates, actual slabs, how they have implemented in this staggered manner. Okay, so this is about the e-invoicing, what has changed. Okay, previously we used to upload the JSON file. Now the prescribed schema has been mandatory, it has been uh, applied so that they can the invoices can be uploaded on the GST on the IRP portal. Then comes the IRN number. IRN number, initially there was a sequential invoice number. There was no IRN number in the present invoice system. But after the e-invoice has been implemented, they have come up with the unique 64 character unique IRN number with the hash generation algorithm, which is always unique for each and every invoice. Earlier there was no QR code. Now the QR code has been mandatory, and they have come up with this. And then facility available on the GST portal. Earlier the facility was available only on GST portal. Now the cancellation can be done within 24 hours. So what it is, this is just the difference between what was in the present invoicing system and what has been implemented in e-invoicing. So next, what they are proposing, the proposed plan of the government of India is on its way to make e-invoice mandatory for all the B2B transactions. And we have also heard that from 1st April 21, e-invoicing may become mandatory for all the B2B transactions whose aggregate annual turnover in 3 preceding previous financial year is over rupees 50 crores. And in a short time, they may also extend it to the assessees who are more than 5 crores or 10 crores. The slab rates are yet to be defined, are yet to be notified. But this is what we have come across through the interviews of the government officials.
Yeah, so just to add, the government of India has now allowed sandbox testing for the users whose turnover is more than 50 crores. So they can actually go and test the e-invoicing for them, how it would be applicable, the APIs for with their software. They can go and test it and work it out. So that is currently there for turnover for more than 50 crores. So that is our presumption that from 1st April it will be for the 50 crores, and maybe in 3 months or 6 months they would come down to 20 crores or 10 crores, as Hiral said. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So let's understand what is the invoice registration portal, IRP. So can anyone tell out of the in the participants what do they understand about the invoice registration portal? What is IRP according to your understanding? You can write in the chat box.
Yeah. So friends, let's make it interactive. Let's not make it a one-way solution that Imtech team is suggesting and you are listening. So there are few concepts that one must need to understand before they move on to what is actually an e-invoice. So would like some of the views of the participants what they understand this is. What is an IRP? Okay. So any answers in chat, please? Okay, I'll move on this. Invoice registration portal is a portal provided by the GSTN. Okay, GSTN department has given the portal. It is a website for uploading and reporting of invoices by the notified person. By notified person means the notified is by in terms of turnover. Okay, so those, as we said earlier, it was 500 crores, then it was 100, and now maybe from 1st April it will be 50. So this is the first information that is we all must note that IRP is a portal. Now, what does this portal do? This portal just records the invoice details, what you have it in your transaction, and it gives you the feedback. It gives you the 64-digit number, okay, IRN number, return acknowledgement number, and the IRN number it gives you back. Okay, so whenever you are generating an invoice, you have to register it on this invoice registration portal. We will see the entire process how it works in TelePrime. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So now let's see about the e-invoice details. What all details are required in the e-invoice in the what e-invoice should actually have, what all details it should have. So first is about the seller details, which is the name, address, GST number, PIN code, these are the primary requirements of the e-invoice. If any of this is missing from the e-invoice, it cannot be said as the valid e-invoice.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So friends, if you can see, there is one black box on the top of the invoice. This is nothing but the QR code which has got generated from the details which has been provided by the IRP. Okay. The QR code has been generated on the TelePrime invoice. On the left hand side, there is an IRN number. This is a 64-digit number. And below that, it's an acknowledgement number and acknowledgement date. So these are the details which you get it after you have registered your invoice with the government portal. Now, for registering your invoice with the government portal, that is IRP, what are the details which is required? It is this: seller, buyer, consignee, dispatch, details, invoice number, export details, e-way bills details, and other things. Okay, so now I have a question for all the participants, that is the city field mandatory? Okay, is the city field required to be registered when you are generating an invoice? Do you need to mention the city? Yes or no? Some answers.
You can type in the chat box given.
Okay.
Amol Kadam is saying yes. Saurabh Sharma, yes. Dharmesh Dedia, yes. Abhinay Upadhyay, yes. Matin Traders, Rajiv, everyone is saying yes.
Okay. So, friends, here is the twist. City field is not mandatory. The mandatory field is a state and the PIN code. Okay. So, please understand that city, there is no such thing provided in Tally, as well as that field is not there. Okay. In as a such, you need to give a separate field for PIN code that is required. Okay. So one must understand what are compulsory and what are not compulsory. Okay. Let's go. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
I will keep asking such type of questions.
So, is there any fixed position prescribed by the department to print the QR code? So, any answers from the chat, from the participants? Is there any fixed position anyone has come up across?
Yeah, Dharmesh Bhai says yes. right, Dharmesh bhai, the QR code is compulsorily to be printed, but Chirag bhai also says yes, we get it, but it is the position is not fixed. What is fixed is that, yeah, Samir bhai said no, that the QR code, there is no fixed position. Okay, the what is compulsory is that QR code has to be printed. You can print it on the bottom of the invoice, on the middle of the invoice, on the top of the invoice. Wherever you wish, you can print it. By default, Tally Prime gives it on the top of the invoice, as what we saw in the last screen. Okay, but it can be printed anywhere on the invoice. Great. Next question.
Yeah. So what is the maximum number of line items which can be reported in an invoice? Any guesses from the participants? Maximum number of line items.
Okay, Samir bhai says
Okay,
100.
100.
Yeah. Okay. Abhinav says 500. Friends, it is actually how much it is, Hiral bhai? 1000, right? Currently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is 1000.
So I don't think so any invoice would be more than 1000. But currently this limit is what Tally has kept it as 1000 as number of inventory in one invoice. Okay.
Yeah, and so if need is there, and it will be enhanced further as per the need is there in future. So do I need to print IRN on the invoice?
So
Now this
friends,
is very I think very important question.
right. So we saw the
Yeah.
QR code to be printed. It is compulsory. We saw on the left hand side of the QR code that there is a 64-digit IRN number. Do I need to print it on the invoice? Is it compulsory? Sudhakar says yes.
Sudhakar,
Sonam also says yes. Samir bhai says no. Right on dot. Samir bhai. Chirag bhai also says no. Yeah. Go ahead, Hiral bhai.
yeah. So it is optional. IRN is always embedded in QR code, which is one of the mandatory particulars on the invoice. So if the QR code is there, then that means the IRN number is already there in the. It is embedded in the QR code. So once they scan the QR code using the government app, it can be they can definitely get the IRN number. So it is an optional field.
Okay. Here I would like to add that while QR code is compulsory, the size of QR code is also very important. Friends, if you customize the QR code, which is possible, and keep it very small, and normally a QR code would require about 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch space, okay, to print. And if you do not provide that, and if you print a very smaller QR code, which is not readable, that means your invoice is not complete. Okay, so you need to have a QR code, but which again is scannable. Okay, that is one thing which you all must note is required. Now, let's move forward.
Yeah. So e-invoice impact on taxpayer.
Before we
Yeah, sir.
yeah, before we get into the procedure for e-invoice, and let us understand what are the impact of not having a proper e-invoice system. Okay, now the failure, as what we understand from the current government regulation, is that failure to generate an IRN is considered as failure of issuance of invoice itself. Okay, so it is a compulsory fee. If an invoice is not registered on the IRP, then such invoice would not be treated as a valid tax invoice, which we all must know. And for all GST related matters, okay, uh, you may attract a penalty for each instance of non-compliance. And I would like Samir bhai to share what would be the each instance of non-compliance. Uh, uh, 1 second. because here, please note that if you have generated 10 invoices, now each in issuance of non, and you have not generated an e-invoice for either of those 10 invoices, then the penalty which the current regulations has it, Samir bhai, your suggestion, or anybody who has seen this particular uh, provisions of the law, what would be the penalty for not providing?
25,000 CGST, 25,000 SGST.
Oh my, that is 25,000 CGST or
And
25 50,000 I. Oh my, right.
I think
And
more important than that, what people need to understand is that if you were supposed to generate an e-invoice, and if you did not generate an e-invoice, you will not be able to generate an e-way bill also. So that will have a separate complication.
okay, yes, that for those who are having goods, and e-way bill also will not be generated. And a corollary to that is that you have generated and you have not generated an invoice, your goods can be detained by the department. So if those are found going without the e-invoice, mandatory e-invoice details, so if the valid tax invoice is not there, the department people can detain your goods, and they may impose standard penalty, right? And again, as we said in the earlier, the challenge of passing of ITC is always there. So apart from the monetary penalty, there is a challenge in terms of continuity of the business. Okay, आपका सामने वाला इनवॉइस ही एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा अगर आपने वैलिड ई इनवॉइस नहीं जनरेट किया है. So thank you, Samir bhai, for adding those provisions. Uh, so what are the things which are compulsory? We understand that these are the impact by the these are the pain that a taxpayer might have. What are the things? How he can go? Hiral bhai, can you just share the process?
Yeah. So what is the preparedness? What all things is needed for a proper invoicing? Once the preparedness is as follows, that taxpayer will receive a communication from department. Department will communicate them whether the invoicing is applicable for them or not. On receiving the communication, the taxpayer can log into the IRP portal, and even there, suppose if the communication has maybe faltered, or it may not, you may not have received it, you can log into the IRP portal and check whether you can put your GST number and check whether it is applicable for you or not. It will tell you that whether it is the invoicing is applicable to your company or not. Then you will have to complete the registration process by providing the required details, like the mandatory fields you will have to fill up, and then you will have to select the preferred GSP in case of API based e-invoice generation. So from whom you want to from which GSP you want to generate the e-invoice, that you have to select the GSP. So in case of Tally, you have to select the Tally solutions, and then you can start the e-invoicing from the date of applicability. So this is the preparedness. What these are the brief steps what a person has to go through while he has to generate the e-invoice.
Okay, so apart from what is there in Tally, that of course we are going to showcase it to you. We also need, as what Hiral bhai said, that on the portal we need to record and select Tally Solutions or Tally India Private Limited as the preferred GSP. Once they select and they get the user ID and password, and from there on we can start working in Tally. Yeah, please go ahead, Hiral bhai.
Now we will see the documents to be reported to the e-invoice system. So here the documents related to the e-invoicing system are the B2B or B2G tax invoice. B2B means business to business, and B2G means business to government. So in case of the PSU entities, the B2G will be applicable. And so in that case, the B2B and B2C only registered invoices are to be registered clients' invoices have to be uploaded on the e-invoice system. They have to be reported. Then export invoices are to be reported. Reverse charge invoices. Now, in this reverse charge invoices, outward supplies for reverse chargeable items or services is under the ambit of e-invoice system. Then credit notes and debit notes. So,
Friends,
yeah.
friends, if you see that debit notes and credit notes are also part of the e-invoice system. Now, in the success story that we mentioned, a car dealer. Normally, a car dealer generates one invoice, and along with one invoice, he issues about 8 to 10 debit notes, different types of debit notes. That is maybe the warranty debit note, maybe some finance charges debit note, or some small amount debit notes. Each and every debit note or a credit note need to be registered with the e-invoice system. The reason is that when if it is a B2B transaction, it has to be, the government has to know what it is. Okay, so many times people forget कि नहीं credit note है चल जाएगा, छोटा amount है, discounts है, and all those things. You please check it. Whenever you are generating any kind of transaction, if it is a B2B transaction, business to business transaction or business to government, whatever, those needs to be generated, even if it is a discount. Okay, so please make sure that these are reported from on the e-invoice system. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So will the IRP or will IRP store or archive the e-invoices? Will the invoice the IRP portal will it store the e-invoices?
Any guesses from the participants? Will the invoice registration portal that we discussed, that was the first question. Would they store your e-invoice details, or would they junk it? It should be. Rajesh Bhai says no. Okay, two varied answers. Hiral Bhai, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the answer is no, because IRP is only a pass-through portal which performs the prescribed validation on invoice data. So it just generates the IRN number, and it will pass it through the GSP, the GST Suvidha provider. So it will not store any kind of e-invoice data on its portal. They will have to, what it will do is it will just accept the invoice details. When we will upload the invoice to the IRP portal, it will just accept our credentials and invoice details. It will assign an IRN number to that invoice, and it will send it back to the GSP. And through GSP, it will receive in our accounting system. So nowhere it will be saved.
Okay. Samir Bhai rightly pointed out that it is going to be stored only for 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be there. But apart from that, they are just a pass-through portal. We have a detailed maybe diagram to explain how this will work. Okay.
Right. So let's understand the technology for e-invoice quickly. So the supplier, in this case, the supplier will supplier will make an invoice, and it will be posted on the IRP portal. It will do the deduplication check, and it will return the signed JSON to the supplier along with the QR code information. Now it will send the authenticated system, the payload, to the GST system, which is for the e-way bill. The e-way bill will also get generated, and the GST system will automatically get populated with the GSTR1 of the seller gets updated, GSTR 2A and 2B of the buyer gets updated, and the buyer, the person on whom we are the person for whom we are issuing the sale invoice, the buyer in this case. So buyer can use the QR code to verify the invoice, and buyer can use the ITC related to the information in his GSTR 2A and 2B. So this is how the broad technology of the e-invoice works.
सर ये दिखने में बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स है, वो इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स है नहीं. आप लोगों को जैसे हम लोग प्रोसेस करेंगे ना, यू विल कम टू नो हाउ सिंपल इट इज टू वर्क विद. ओके, दिस इज ऑल हैपनिंग. द power of technology, we'll see it in few minutes that how this thing is happening, and everything is happening at the back end. Okay, so let's move out on the next this
Right.
thing.
Yeah. So let's have the product walkthrough. So this is my Surbi Hardwares, the one of the company.
So how would you start, Hiranbhai? The first thing that you've already told that the API details on the invoice, IRP and all those things, so that
Correct.
once a user has created those things, after
Right.
that, how would the person start? What he has to do it in Tally? Because here, people, all of us have got come here for understanding what we have to do it in Tally. Please understand.
Correct, correct. Yeah. So the first and foremost thing what we will do is we will go to F11. In this F11, there is an option here. Puneet,
Before that, this is going to be available only and only in Tally Prime.
Prime, yeah.
So those users who are using Tally ERP9 will not be able to get the Tally functionality of e-invoice. Yes, some of the partners have developed in-house solutions on Tally ERP9, but those have not come from Tally Solutions directly. Okay, this solutions on Tally Prime has come from Tally Solutions as a GSP as well. Okay, so this is a big difference when we are talking for Tally ERP9 and Tally Prime. So you got to install Tally Prime. There is no other way out. Tally ERP9, Tally Solutions have themselves told it very clearly. Now, no more development on Tally ERP9. Anything and everything, all the developments, all the corrections, everything is going to be on Tally Prime. So no developments on ERP9. Having said that, once we start our company or once we open up our company in Tally Prime, Hirabai, please proceed.
Yeah, one of the participants, Puneet Munoth, has raised the hand. Sir, do you have any question?
Yes, please. I am
yeah.
Puneet from Bangalore.
Okay.
There's one question. Can we integrate this e-invoicing and our customized billing softwares also?
Like which software you're using? You are using Tally or another billing software?
It's another customized billing software which I got it done locally in Bangalore.
Okay, sir, you can contact us on our contact details at the end of the webinar. So we can take this separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more question is the upgrading from Tally ERP9 to Tally Prime, is it extra chargeable or how is it?
Okay. So that is the very relevant question, because most of the participants would have Tally ERP9 or would have seen Tally ERP9. If they have a valid Tally software subscription, okay, then they will not have to pay anything extra for downloading this Tally Prime. Okay, Tally Prime is absolutely free of cost for those who are having already a valid Tally software subscription. Okay, you may have to pay some implementation charges or customization charges for changing your QR code and all those things. But Tally, from Tally's perspective, we don't have anything that Tally has said that they need to pay for activating e-invoice or Tally Prime as such. So what you need to have is a valid Tally software subscription that should be enabled in your against your license. So that is the only requirement. After that, you can download it.
And last question. Is this e-invoicing going to affect in our GSTR 1 and 3B filing?
Yes, absolutely, sir. It will affect.
Okay.
So the B2B transactions, whatever we are uploading to the e-invoice portal, the B2B transactions, those will get populated in the GSTR1. So with respect to the B2C and other transactions which are not uploaded on the e-invoice portal, which are not to be reported on e-invoice portal, that you will have to update manually on GSTR1.
And how do we go ahead with the non registered business house also?
We'll come on that. We'll come on that, Mr.
Yeah.
Munot. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would request participants to put your questions in the chat so that if they are relevant to the current this thing, we'll allow those questions to be working because everybody has got limited time. And with that, we need to first finish our presentation so that the knowledge is shared. And of course, we will be there till for question Q&A as long as we want it. There is no challenge as such. But let's start with our this thing. How do we start in Tally ERP9, Tally Prime, the GST working? Yeah, please, Hiral bhai, go ahead.
Yeah. The first and foremost thing what I did was I went to F11. In F11, I enabled this. The GST part will always be enabled. I mean, it will be enabled definitely if you are using the existing data. So in this GST part, there is an option on the right hand side, e-invoice invoice features. Now in this invoice features, there is an option here, e-invoice applicable, yes or no. Earlier it was no, but in this case I have mentioned this as yes. So you will have to mention this as yes, and applicability date you will have to enter whether it is 1st October or 1st Jan or 1st April in your case. Then bill from place, default period of e-invoice report, and the last one is send e-way bill details with e-invoice. Now this is then optional part. If you are setting this as a yes, that means that if you are setting this as yes, and while generating e-invoice, you are also mentioning the e-way bill details in the supplementary details screen. So in that case, both will be filed. E-way bill and e-invoice both will be filed at the same time. So we will see that. So this was the configuration part of the e-invoice related. Now let's see the sales part.
Hiral bhai, can you just
Yes.
show a small video because we have not
Okay,
registered
okay.
with the invoice portal.
Yeah, correct.
Showcase a small video for that.
Okay. Uh, 1 second. So this is the IRN flow, how we will be able to upload the sales on the e-invoice portal. So now in this case, the IRN has been updated manually. Do you want to upload it on the e-invoice portal? We will say yes. We will put the username and password. And the IRN will be generated.
Friends,
No.
right now that testing which this Hiral bhai showed is not available for anybody and everybody. So that is why we are showing a recorded video for this. Okay. But how to do it in Tally apart from the part of the putting the API user ID and the password, everything we will showcase it in Tally. So Hiral bhai, please get back to Tally and there we can showcase it. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, what we have to keep in mind, I'm already inputting a normal sale invoice. I've selected this party, Kiran Enterprise. Then we will be selecting a sales ledger, item name, then quantity, rate, amount, then CGST, SGST, and in this case provide e-invoice details. We will say yes, and we will put the bill to place and ship to place address. So once we are done with this, we will press yes. We will save this transaction. Now once we are saving this transaction,
Samir Bhai has asked that will Tally prompt if the mandatory details are not available? Yes, Tally will prompt
yeah,
if
it
the
will
mandatory
prompt.
details are not available. And at the same time, there is a special report which is available, which we will come to it, that which details are not being fed by the users. Okay, for the users to further work on this, there is a special report which has been provided, and the moment you can go in a transaction here, just
Yeah, one second.
no, in the sales transaction, go in any sales transaction.
Sales transaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here in F12, just click on F12.
Hmm.
Here there is an option for sending the e-invoice details after saving the vouchers. See, under the GST details in F12. Just show.
This one.
Yeah.
This.
So if you have kept it as yes, the moment your voucher is getting saved, it will ask for the IRP portal details. Okay. We were in discussion with Tally to get the sandbox for ours also, but we could not get it for today's session. But anyways, the moment you say this as yes, it will link it to your Tally GST portal, and it will give you the IP login credentials to put in. And the moment you put in the credentials, the data would go again to the IRP portal and return back with the IRN number. Now that is the process which will happen at the back end. Now, in case you feel that I don't want to put the invoice e-invoice immediately after saving of the transaction, you can keep this as no. The reason for that might be that you are not sure that your data entry person has correctly entered all those details. Okay, if in case you are not sure of those things, then Tally has provided a special report, okay, for e-invoicing, and from there also you can generate the details. Okay, and apart from the report, you can go to this option called Alt Z, that is exchange. Go to Alt Z.
Yeah. Yeah, one second, sir. Alt Z. Yeah.
Send for e-invoicing.
Send for e-invoicing.
Yeah. So once you select this option, you will get the list of details for which the invoice has to be sent. And from here, you can click on send button. All the details you can generate maybe one e-invoice or maybe 10 e-invoice together. Okay. For each of those numbers, you will find all of them together. Right. So please proceed, Hirabhai, to show you are showcasing that e-invoice report, please.
Yeah. So actually that option was not coming in my place. I have already enabled in this. Let's make the applicability date from let's keep it 1st October.
No, you can go to the e-invoice report. Don't worry.
Okay, yeah. So Alt
Go to
G,
the-
and we can invoice, e-invoice, and in this we are there in the e-invoice report.
So as Samir Bhai said that would the missing valid information would be some prompting? Yes. there, this is the entire report which gets generated. Okay, so if you see, there are two uncertain transaction, missing invalid information is number of transaction exported for IRN and for IRN cancellation also. So there are multiple errors and the information which has been provided. Okay, so Hiral, just a short note for this.
Yeah.
What are the things?
So in this case, uncertain transaction corrections needed. So what all corrections are needed in this case? In first case is the mismatch in the nature of transaction and place of supply, party's country. So the party's country and the place of supply is incorrectly mentioned. So do you want to update section? There is an option over there, Alt S, update, resolve, accept as is, or exclude the voucher. So accordingly, we can the state can be corrected. And the second mismatch is due to the tax amount modified in the voucher. So in this case, as per the calculation, it is 600, but as per transaction, we have not levied any tax. So there is a difference of 600. So even we can resolve this. We can press Control Enter to go into this. We can apply the GST ledgers, and then we can save it. So uh, the e-invoice, it will go away from this mismatch, the uncertain transaction. Then there is a mismatch invalid transaction.
Just to add, it will not go away on its own. Once there is a working which has happened, register, you have tried to register on the invoice portal and it has got rejected. You will have to remove that particular option from your working. Okay, go to uncertain transaction.
The first one.
Yeah, any.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you will have to select it spacebar and okay, resolve, marked as resolved. Okay. So whatever resolution has happened, Control A. I think this is not got resolved. Escape.
Now suppose I'll just select Maharashtra. Place of supply is Maharashtra. I'm changing it.
The GSTN is not correct, no?
It's of 29. It is of 29, so it will be Karnataka.
You can select spacebar accept as is.
Accept as is.
Yeah. Escape. Yeah. So here
for IRN, it will come under for IRN generation, exported for IRN generation. So that means it is still not, we have not yet generated the invoice for that.
Right.
So
the various reports, whatever it is, from here you will come to know. Okay. The other part, the beauty of Tally is that once you get the generic, see, last 3 years Tally has already implemented GST, and it is already capturing all the basic validation, whether HSN code is correct or not, GSTN number belongs to the same state or not, the tax rates are applicable or not, and so on and so forth. Multiple kinds of validations which are already there in the system. Okay, so the benefit of Tally is that such validations again need not come back to you. Okay, so those are already inbuilt in the system. So that will help the users to minimize their GST error rectifications. Tally intuitively says, okay, this is the mistake. Even if there is a wrong HSN code or wrong, maybe the tax rate is not correct. Okay, so that it will show on its own. Okay.
yeah, so other part of the GST of this e-invoice report is that you can, if there is an incomplete HSN or SSE information, it will show you. then again information required for e-invoice is not provided. So in this case, there are multiple different validations, like the consignor bill from GST is not specified or it is invalid. The GST number is invalid. The buyer, the bill to place is not specified or it is invalid. So in this case, we need to first we need to check whether what in which validation it is missing out, and what are the things which are missing in a particular invoice. So after that, we can correct this and we can then generate the e-invoice. And exported IRN for IRN generation, if it is available for IRN generation, it will come over here for IRN generation. So this is now available for IRN generation.
Okay,
This way.
let's proceed further.
Yeah.
The beauty of Tally is not only in showcasing the errors, but it has also given a very, very fantastic report, which is within the e-invoice. Just showcase that. Hiral, come to e-invoice report.
Yeah.
On the right hand side, there is one button called IRN register. Okay, now this is a
Yes.
complete IRN register which says that what has happened to the transactions for which the e-invoice was applicable. Sir, please note, it is only showing for which the e-invoice was applicable. It is not showing B2C transaction. It is just showing B2B transaction. Okay, but if they have been marked as IRN as cancelled, this is just a list of it. Okay, so here you can see that it is providing you transaction wise detail. So what information was missing, invalid, you can go shift enter and you can select it. Okay, so this is one of the very beautiful report that Tally Prime Tally Solutions have provided, that IRN register each and every transaction with the status of the e-invoice. Now on the bottom, the third last transaction is something which is there modified. Now there is a possibility that you have generated an IRN and then the transaction has got modified. Okay, so that is also recorded by Tally. Shift enter, Hiral bhai. Shift
Yeah.
enter, shift enter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tally says that this was the HSN IRN details and the earlier transaction was of 1120. Okay, when it was generated. Now it is 1344. Now this is a very critical information piece which the GST auditor or the GST compliance person would require. That when I had generated an IRN, the ITC which has gone to the customer is on the basis of 1120 values, okay, invoice amount, but not 1344, which is showing in the books of accounts, which is very critical, which you all must note down, that very few softwares are allowing this particular report to be generated and then for the users to check it on themselves to what has happened. Okay, so this is to my mind, in last 3 or 4 months, it is one of the beautiful reports that Tally has provided, listing out all the e-invoice status. Go ahead, Hiral bhai.
Correct. Yeah. So similarly, we can also find in case we want to see the preview. This is how the e-invoice will look like. You can zoom it a bit. Only the top part is it has been changed. The IRN number, acknowledgement date, acknowledgement number, and this is the QR code. Which if we scan it, we will receive the many details are embedded in this QR code. For example, the IRN number is there, the party name, GST number, invoice value, invoice quantity, etc. It is being embedded in this QR code. So this effectively it effortlessly generates the e-invoice using the Tally GSP. So the process is the same. The Tally Prime, we will input the details in the Tally Prime, and then it will go to the GSP, GST Suvidha provider, which is Tally Solutions, and through Tally Solutions it will go to the IRP portal. And once it is registered in the IRP portal, it will come back to the GSP and it will come back to the Tally. So it is within a fraction of seconds or within a blink of an eye, the e-invoice, the IRN number will get populated in your Tally. So it won't take much time. Then there is a flexibility to send in individual, selective or bulk invoices, as we rightly saw in the Tally.
Yeah, when we saw that Alt Z exchange, and you can select one or you can select multiple invoices together. Okay, so that was bulk invoices also you can send it.
Yeah. Also it can effortlessly generate the e-invoice along with the e-way bill. So once your e-way bill details are mentioned in the Tally, I'll just go in one of the invoice and I'll just explain it. So suppose we put here invoice.
Here where the transaction amount is less than what the e-way bill would require.
Okay, I'll just check the higher transaction. Let's say this. So in this case, e-way bill, suppose I'm putting the mandatory details like PIN code is there, then address details are there, transporter name, vehicle number, transporter ID. If necessary details are there in the in this invoice, so while uploading to the e-invoice portal, it will also upload the details required to the required for the e-way bill, and it will also give you the e-way bill number once you are generating the e-invoice. But there is no separate facility. Like suppose if you want to generate a separate e-way bill for a single invoice, it is not possible. It is possible through JSON. It is not automatically possible right now. But anyways, we can while generating the e-invoice, e-way bill will be automatically populated if the user wants it.
Okay, if you want to send the goods urgently and the server is not working, the government server, you mean to say? That is a challenge that even we are not aware that what to do. I think
But
e-invoice can
we
be
can
generated in
definitely-
24 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So government has given time that e-invoice can be generated in 24 hours. I don't think so. That would be there. That you'll have to wait for so much long. So you can generate e-invoice within 24 hours and send the soft copy of the invoice after getting the IRN number. Okay. Yeah. Please move ahead.
Yeah. Also, there is a flexibility to generate offline JSON to handle the exigency scenarios. So, in case if any person wants to generate the online facility is not available in that remote area or a remote place, he can generate the JSON and send it to the concerned person, and he can file it for his behalf.
Yeah. So JSON export is also available, and this JSON export would be as per the government design format. So user can directly upload the JSON file on the government portal. So that option is already provided. We saw this e-invoice report to get the bird's eye view along with IRN number, and yeah, the next status that we saw each status of each invoice from cancelled, generated, rejected, whatever it is. And in fact, we've seen that a deleted transaction can also come here. If the invoice is generated, it would just say deleted and the IRN number.
Right.
So let's move forward.
Yeah. So we can generate the IRN for pending invoices also. for if any invoices are pending and invoices, the IRN is not being generated, we can generate it in a bulk together.
Friends, right now the rules are, while I am not so much conversant with the exact rules, but at the initial stage, the government is slightly flexible in terms of how many days is required to upload the e-invoice. Initially, they had said 3 days, then they said for 1 month, and now they are not very particular. Before GSTR1 filing, they are ensuring that it has to be there, but going forward they would reduce this time, and within a few hours or few days you will have to upload your e-invoice detail and generate the IRN, and Tally allows you to generate it in bulk together. Okay, so that is the beauty of it. Next.
Yeah. So we can update the IRN for invoices generated from other software. So this is the very fantastic utility available in Tally Prime. So with this, suppose if any person is using any other software and they are generating the e-invoices from the other softwares, so they can definitely fetch that data in the Tally Prime. Suppose um, the same data, the same invoices are being punched in the Tally, and if there is an option called as Get IRN Info. So if the same exact data are being uploaded in Tally Prime, are the same invoices, same invoice number, same invoice date is punched in the Tally Prime, and if they are uh, asking for the Get IRN Info, I'll just show you quickly in e-invoice report. So there is an option here on the right hand side, Get IRN Info. If I click this, it will check. It will go on the. It will check this particular invoice details, and it will check whether in with this invoice number there is any IRN linked or not. So it will provide the IRN information and acknowledgement information over there.
Okay, just to link what Mr. Puneet had raised an query at the start of the session, that if I am having a customized invoice, and can I link with that to Tally for generating e-invoice? Yes, that can be done. But in case you are having a customized invoice software and you have generated an e-invoice from there, now while you are recording the using Tally for your accounting and GST purposes, you can get the IRN info only from the government portal. Okay, while you have recorded, the only condition as what we see is that you should have the correct invoice number, what you have generated from the other software and the one which has been punched in Tally. In case if both of them are correct and the other details are correct, the government portal would then provide you the IRN details. Okay, so for those who are which are already registered, suppose you have generated the invoice, for those we will get the details from the government portal itself. Okay, so that is what we have seen. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So next is the Get IRN for IRN manually generated invoices or IRN rejected invoices or invoices for QR code is deleted or corrupted. So in that case, we can use this facility of Get IRN. So Get IRN functionality is used where the IRN is manually generated. I mean, if the person has gone to the portal and he has generated the IRN through the
Yeah,
Excel
yeah.
utility, or IRN has rejected or deleted. So in that case, we can get the IRN information. Then there is an identify e-invoices which were modified, which we just saw.
Yeah. So
Then
Samir
IRN
is asking.
cancellation.
So here, just a case,
Okay.
Hiral bhai. Samir bhai is
Huh.
asking that is
Huh.
there a time limit for getting the details for fetching the data if it has been generated, e-invoice has been generated from some other software or whatever it is, or is there any time limit? Currently, we are not aware whether there is time limit or not, is there or not. But practically, we saw in few of our clients that invoice which was generated 15 days back or 17 days back, the linking was done with the government portal, and we were able to patch the e-invoice details as well. So we're not aware what exactly the time limit is, but we've seen with one of the experiments, one of the clients, that 15 days earlier they had done the e-invoicing from the IRP portal, and now they've just entered the IRN. Yeah, yeah, you're very right. From NIC portal, the data will get scrubbed, but I think it is going to the GST portal on an automated basis, and from there it is getting the e-invoice details. Samir has mentioned that from NIC portal it is just 48 hours for which the details are there. So on a dynamic basis, it is going to the GST portal, and from there it is getting the details. We've seen it for one of the clients. It was earlier, 15 days earlier, that this was generated. And now we were able to get the fetch the IRN number from the portal. Yeah. So I think this part has already been taken care by Hiral bhai earlier. That
Yeah,
those
invoices rejected.
yeah, those which are rejected and need necessary revisions, those would be taken care in Tally itself. You don't need to do anything else. You just need to go and modify the transaction and then provide it for e-invoice once again. Okay.
Right.
Once again.
Also, delete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that the
So
transactions.
delete the stored information, including the QR code, and start afresh if required. So you can remove the IRN. You can remove the IRN information, including the QR code, in case you want to start it afresh. In case there has been some manual interruptions or some entry has been modified, you can cancel that invoice and you can you can generate a new invoice for that. So let's see the.
So what we've seen the process of how the e-invoices generate. Now there are many fields which are compulsory, which are required, because this being IT, information technology, there are certain things which are users must know while they are generating the e-invoice. So we have compiled few of the things, and there are few more maybe, but because of paucity of time and because of making things simple for our first session, we've not giving you the exhaustive list, but yes, these are the basic things that you must ensure while you're generating the e-invoice. Hiral, please go ahead.
Yeah. So these are few important points. The GSTN of the e-invoice generating company, it should be of 15 characters, as already there, that the GST number is always 15 characters. So if it is less or more, the e-invoice will be generated.
The challenge is
Then
sometimes
voucher number.
Yeah, sorry. The challenge is sometimes user
Yes,
invariably copies it from an Excel, and there might be a space which comes in, or that those things should be avoided. So if you have copied your invoice GSTN number from a Word Excel to Tally, okay, Control C Control V करके यहाँ पे कर दिया, and there are chances that unwanted character might come in within the in between the number or at the end of the number. So 15 means 15 characters, not even a space should be allowed. Okay. The second is voucher number.
Correct. Yeah. So the voucher number cannot be empty. It should always have a certain voucher number should be there. Now in this case, suppose any person is passing an entry through JV or journal transactions, the sales are being posted through journals. In that case, it is mandatory that they should put the reference numbers. there may be very 1% of chance that the sales is being posted through JV, but in this case, they should keep in mind. So the voucher number should be of maximum 16 characters, as it is already a prerequisite info pre-requirement from the GST portal also. It should not have any spaces, and it should have only a special character which is allowed is forward slash. Now this is a very important thing which you also must have come across in any of your vendors, or even you may be following the same thing, that the people put the invoice number like INV or the company name slash 01 dash 1920 or slash 19-20. So dash is not allowed. So in this case, you need to make it a habit that you correct your invoice numbering from 1st April or 1st March, whichever is applicable. The first character cannot be 0.
Yeah, so the numbering,
number not
the
start
numbering
from
part,
0.
yeah, the numbering part should not start with 00051. That 0 is not allowed. Okay, the number first character 0 should not be allowed. It's or a forward slash is both are not allowed. It has to be normal numeric or alphanumeric is also fine, but it cannot be 0.
Right. Then seller's name, as mentioned in the mailing name field of the company. The mailing name, suppose it is having certain clients are having a name like say Aditya Birla dash Ahmedabad. We are prone to keep the name of the clients, and then we if the same name of the client is repeated twice, we put the location name or the state name after the company. So we need to make sure that the mailing name only the mail is Aditya Birla in that case. So we need to modify that. Then address line 1 and 2, it should have minimum 3 to 100 characters. These are just a few important points. There are a lot of more important points with respect to this. There are many other with respect to export or buyer details,
Okay.
seller details. There are many
Kishore Bhai is requested that for seller's name, mailing name, what are the things that you mentioned? See, the mailing name is a field. Hiral Bhai, it would do a great if you go to Tally and showcase what is the mailing name field.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So the one which is registered by the GST department. Now you are selling it to suppose Kishore Naval, but his GST registration is in the name of Kishore Enterprise. Okay. So whatever is your ledger name, see normally what is happened is the Kamal Traders here on the top of left hand side. You might keep Kamal Traders 1516, Kamal Traders Iron or whatever it is. Okay. That is not his GST what we say name. Okay. For Tally or for government portal, this mailing name is something which is there. Okay. Here you need to ensure that here it is there, which is registered in the government portal. So this is the mailing name field. Okay. I hope now hereby showed amply clear that what is the mailing name field and which is there in the government portal. For you, you might create a ledger name as Kamal Traders Karnataka or Kamal Traders maybe iron dealers or Kamal Traders scrap dealers. Whatever you might create, ledger name is not a challenge. The challenge is the mailing details, the mailing name. It has to be as per what they have procured the GST certificate in the name. Okay. So that is one thing.
Right. Yeah. So
okay.
let's see.
Ayushi has got some query. Hiral Bhai,
yes, sir.
If you could answer.
Yeah. I think.
What is she saying that in e-way bill, why transporter ID and name does not come together. I think she's mentioning of the e-way bill details, and only ID can be seen and printed. If you want to get both of these things together, how to get it? I think through customization it is possible, Miss Ayushi.
Yeah,
But
actually,
yeah, please go ahead.
uh, no, sir. This is, yeah, this is actually a noted issue. I've already come across the same issue at another client. So Tally Solutions has answered that it is a noted issue, and they will be rectifying this problem in the next releases, because initially the transporter ID, only the transporter ID is coming, and transporter name is not coming, as Ayushi rightly said.
Okay.
Transporter ID is coming, and instead of transporter name, one single dash is coming over there. Because what Tally Solution answered was that it is not a mandatory field according to them. At that point of time, it was not mandatory. But since many of the users are requesting, so they will definitely come across. They will provide this in their next releases.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of it. The number of users are so huge that Tally keeps getting some kind of updates and corrections, and for that, this is required. Yes, Kishore bhai, in the chat you have mentioned that mailing name should check with the GST portal. I believe yes, it should match. Otherwise, there might be a problem in generating the e-invoice details. Okay. Now, this is what we've seen the default functionality of Tally. And while we move ahead, there are some things which the user do require, and it is not every time that we have to go back to Tally and say, okay, wait, this is not available, this is not available. So there are some things that is suggested by Impact team. Hiral bhai, please go ahead.
Yeah. So let's see a few of our customizations which can make your life easy. First is the export import module. So in this case, I'll show you why it is important, and why it this export import, we have in the hierarchy, we have placed it at the number one position. Why it is important?
So first is, what is this export import module? Now this is a module regarding updation of your masters altogether. Okay. So if you have generated, if you have a lot of masters, and those needs to get updated from Excel to Tally, this particular module is available. Okay. So why is it important? Hiral bhai would just show. Till that time, I will just take few of the other queries which is there. Samir bhai is
Yeah.
asking
So
expected date of facility being made available to Tally Prime users. Uh, uh, e-invoice details, if they are eligible to generate, I mean, if they are eligible to register with the government portal. E-invoice is currently being done, as we've seen the success stories, Samir bhai. So Tally Prime users, nothing. I think. Please elaborate more in case your answer is not there. But I feel the e-invoice details and the e-way bill details along with this is currently available for all the Tally Prime users if they are eligible. This thing. Ayushi is again asking, I think, on e-way bill, goods details are not shown properly on e-way bill table number 3. How to see full details? I think
yeah.
that we can take it one to one. Hiral, you have some.
Yeah, sir. It is the same is the noted issue at one of the clients. They have the Tally has already agreed that initially the inventory name was not mandatory. So whatever was not mandatory, they have not given unnecessarily. So again, the same thing that they many of the clients have reported this issue to Tally Solutions, and they said that they will definitely give this in the next releases.
Yeah, so you want to say that the description of the goods is not getting updated. That
Right.
was the challenge. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that even I have come across that. Yes. Okay.
So the problem was that just HSN was getting reflected, but the description was not getting reflected. So people were not aware that what goods they are actually receiving from the just seeing at the e-invoice plain.
Okay. Okay, I get it. You were on export import module. We've just
Yeah.
I've already explained that it is an module where we can export all details from Tally to Excel, and after updating, we can import it back. But what are the details from e-invoice perspective that you feel is important for all the users?
Yeah. So the export import module, we can, I'm going in this ledger, and suppose I'm selecting primary. Now in this case, we can see here, there are multiple fields which are applicable, for which the updation of master is important. So now in this case, few fields which are very important is, you can update the mailing name. In this case, say Air Asia. Now the actual mailing name may be different as per the GST number, as Puneet sir rightly said. So you can update the mailing name of the parties. There you can update the address details, address 1 and address 2 details, and also you can update the state pin code. Pin code is very important, very important, because on the basis of pin code, if your pin code is not there in the tally, in the respective debtors ledger, you will keep getting the errors of the that e-invoice is not getting generated, and you will be fed up of the details that you will instead blame the system that it is not working properly. So that's why we are here to give you the knowledge that why it is important to keep the updated masters, so that you will the e-invoice system will work flawlessly. So the pin code details is there, country detail is there, then GST number you can update. So all those details are there, are given in this table. You, all you need to do is you just need to export this into Excel, update the necessary details in Excel, and then re-import the same thing in backend Tally. So all the details will get updated. The masters will get updated with the updated information number, updated information. So this is the beauty of the export import masters. Also,
Yeah.
the GST rate we can alter, and there are a lot of fields available.
Wonderful, wonderful, Hiral bhai. Can we go to the next this thing?
Yeah. So next is coming back to the sales register with IRN details. I'll just quickly load it. Yeah. So Tally itself is not giving the IRN register, the sales register. I mean the IRN number-wise sales register. This we have customized for one of our clients. In this case, we can go to display statement of accounts. Oh, sorry, account books, sales register, and in sales register, say I'm selecting the whole period, and I'm going for the columnar view, F8 columnar. Now you can see here the IRN number, the IRN number column is given. We have given this column so that you can export and you can verify whether what was the IRN number. This will be very helpful in case of the audit in future. You will understand that which invoices were for which invoice the IRN number was generated and for which invoice IRN was not generated. So you can come across the case. Now in this case, you can see this is the registered sale. The GST number is there. That means the sale is registered sale. B2B sale is there. But in this case, the IRN number is not mentioned. So you can quickly identify which were the invoices for which the IRN number is not generated.
Okay.
Then, yeah.
Yeah. So why customizations? It makes life slightly easier for the users to ensure that they are following the prescribed working. Of course, many times what customizations we are doing, we also suggest it to Tally, and depending on their priority, depending on the Tally solutions priority, some of these customizations they do incorporate over a period of time. You've seen it in default product, so that does happen, but they will incorporate as per their own priority list. So for the users, they can go ahead and do the customizations. Okay, in case they require. Yeah.
Yeah. So next is the voucher level security module. The background of this module is voucher level security means you through this module you can give the access to your employees, like which voucher a person A can alter or create, or maybe I mean the creation and alteration of that voucher along with the voucher type. What you can give the rights to that particular user. Say user A will be altering user, you can give the rights to a user A of the creation of sales voucher, but you do not want to give the alteration of the sales voucher. So that means you can give through this module you can give those rights to the users. I'll just quickly uh, show you.
I think Hiral, that is fine. Users have a okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the use of this is that you can give the access to that voucher, give the access of that particular voucher and creation or alteration rights. So this is
Each voucher
important with
type.
respect to that if any user, each voucher type, so that if any person has, if any person is creating sales invoice and he is uploading the e-invoices, and if that person is not authorized to delete that or make any alteration in that sale invoice, and if he does the unauthorized alteration, so we can stop that alteration or unauthorized alteration with this module.
Okay. And I think
So
that
that e-invoice details are there in the tally. It never that voucher never gets deleted from the tally. We can stop that deletion of the voucher also.
wonderful.
So only authorized person will be accessing that the information. Then comes the audit trail module. Now in this module, the through this we can identify that what transaction have been altered. I mean, suppose a person has altered any transaction. So what all things he has altered, and what all things, what number, I mean the amount has been altered or the quantity has been altered. So once the person has altered that transaction, we can identify this.
So there's a trail of
We can
transaction.
get the trail of
Yeah,
that.
there's a trail of transactions which can go
Yeah.
through. I think these are the 4 customizations that we are talking
So
about. Yeah.
yeah, so this we can quickly show. So just as this, in this case, I had altered. You can see in the last transactions in the Air Asia, the earlier invoice was of 1300, and then someone changed it to 1200. So who changed it? We can identify this. And in case of Kamath Advisors, the earlier invoice was of 8,000, and then it was being later on it was changed to 8,500. So we can identify that what was the earlier. We can get the chain of transaction, chain of the addition, the alteration. The who was the person who created this transaction, who was the person who altered the transaction. Alteration can be n number of times. It will the chain will keep on increasing, and it will show the whole trail to you.
Super.
So this is the beauty of this customization. So we can catch hold of the person who is on whom we can on whom we can keep him accountable for his alterations. Then comes the so this was the customization part.
Okay, friends. Now, if any of you, there are about 45, 15 participants in the current this thing, would wish to do these customizations, or they have, if they are filing an income tax return, okay, and they would like to save at least 2 to 3 hours per return, okay, at least, I'm not saying it can be more also. If they would like to save 2 to 3 hours per return, then they may communicate to any of our team members. In the next slide, we have this team members. Vinod, Hiralbhai, Pooja, Dilkush, Palak, or Deepak, or anyone, and they can communicate to any of the. You can note down these numbers, and they can communicate to any of the person and get a demo of either of these four customizations, or the if you are filing your income tax return, then at that point of time, how we can save at least 2 to 3 hours. In case you are interested in saving the 2 to 3 hours of yours by posting the bank entries in a zip. Okay, we will showcase it to you. In it, the demonstration would not take more than 10 minutes, and the demonstration can happen in your machine with specific. I mean, you can download any of the Excel sheet which any of the banks are providing. Okay, let it be any bank. It should be a direct download from the bank, and we will showcase that to all of you, whosoever is interested. You may communicate to Pooja, may communicate to Deepak or Indrajit or Hiralbhai or anyone. Okay, we will showcase it to you, and then we can move forward on this. Right. Uh, anything at the end, Hiralbhai? Any else?
No, that's it. So
Okay.
these are the contact details. These are the email IDs of our of us, Puneet sir, or you can contact me. And I would also request everyone to follow us on the either on the Instagram or YouTube. You can definitely, each one of you can follow us on YouTube. You can subscribe us, so that the remaining you can also check out the videos of the earlier webinars. We have uploaded them on the YouTube channel, and we are also active on Facebook and Instagram. So do like us on the social media platforms, and review, keep posting good reviews of our company, so that the genuine reviews, I mean to say, so that we will be happy to post uh, such new webinars, and we will be coming up with the new various and new different topics on the Tally.
One more small thing which I would like to showcase. One of my very good friend Sandeep has designed it. Here I am taking the screen share. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I'm showcasing one very good Excel sheet. Are you able to see?
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Yeah. So this is we have generated from Tally. We have designed this sheet in a way where we are getting this data information from Tally directly. So this sales and purchase sheet, we've got it directly from Tally by clicking on one button called Get Data. Okay, we can enable this, and by clicking on one button called Get Data, you get these details in a minute from sales from Tally. Okay, from Tally you get these details, and from there one of my very good friend Sandeep has designed this report which says you can see sales summary report. This is very basic, month wise, right? And then item wise sales dashboard. One second. Yeah, sales dashboard. Yeah, you can see the sales dashboard, month wise sales, party
Sir,
wise.
your screen has been unshared.
Yeah, one
Screen
second.
is unshared, sir.
Yeah.
Earlier it was visible. Now it is visible.
So now sales dashboard, similarly purchase dashboard, that would be available. Okay, so so on and so forth. Now this is a very beautiful things where you can work with the power of Excel and power of Tally. So in case anyone requires this also, they can connect us back, because this would be helpful for you as a client, for your clients also, that what if you are giving some reports which are taken out from Tally, and further working can be made, three-way looking and all those things. So we can help you in getting the data from Tally and also designing such kind of beautiful dashboard. Okay, so these are the few things which we wish to share. That's it from our side, friends. Hiral bhai, you want to share something more?
No, that's it, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Samir bhai, for taking active participation, and thank you all the other participants, Rajesh bhai, Ranjit ji, and all the other participants who have taken time out and helped us to share this knowledge session. We are really grateful to all of you for attending this session. In case you have any challenges in implementing e-invoice or getting it right, please do contact us and communicate back to us. We would be happy to share any details which would be required. If any question is unanswered, please let me know. We can answer it now, or we can answer it with one-to-one also. Yes, thank you very much. With that note, I request Hiral bhai to end the meeting in right. And I also thank Gajanan sir once again for coming and making this session a wonderful session. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for the wonderful, you have been a wonderful audience, and thank you for listening patiently. If there are any further more questions, you can definitely contact us on the details, the numbers given on the earlier screen. Thank you everyone.
Bye.